Ich mache mich mal an.
Birgit, sorry. Can you turn off the camera and the microphone, please? Because people are going to start coming in. Thank you.
Hello and good morning from Cologne. This is day 3 of the WSCC conference, and I welcome you back, and I also welcome those of you who are joining from today. It's really great to have you all here. And I have a look on how many people are coming in. Can you hear me? Can you just confirm that you hear me? Yes? Yes, they can hear us. Okay, thank you, Oscar, for checking on that. Well, what I was about to say is that I'm also having an eye on the participants coming in. I see there's more and more people joining us. So we'll be starting in a moment. We have a great program today. Yesterday was a shorter day. We had, like, from a German perspective, like the morning, basically. Today we have a full program. We have a lot of different sessions, and people are still confirming that you can hear me. Thank you very much to all of you. We have a full program. We start off with the keynote. We have a roundtable. We have flash talks today, which is a new format that we have not had so far. And then, of course, we have, again, parallel sessions coming up. So it's going to be a rich program stretching all the way to the afternoon. What we usually do in the morning, and we did yesterday, and you know Birgit already, we take a quick look back on yesterday's content and also the discussions. So Birgit, there she is. There you are already. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, wherever you are. So yes, yesterday was really intense again, and I would like to show you the results of yesterday's listening and traffic recording. First, I'll show you the overview. this is day 1 and day 2, and you see how it's growing, more content is coming in. And thank you for everyone from the sessions, to the session chairs who sent me the key messages that I could build into the picture. And you're also very welcome to send me your key messages from day 1 that I haven't received yet. And then I will show you a zoom in of yesterday. We heard from Sita about how no one is an island, that it's really important to have that in mind, that it's a global issue, the concerns about climate. And we heard about the cytosphere melting away, about the glaciers melting away, about the effects on the sea level and the temperature of the oceans. We heard about floodings, landslides, snow avalanches, and all these effects. And also, she told us some really inspiring things about solutions, innovative ideas like the ice stupas, for example, about programs like Flood Apart and the idea of Sponge City, and yeah, and so on. And then you people discussed intensively in the sessions, and I got some results here. It was about local knowledge and the importance of stakeholder engagements. The question was posed how to get the right information to the decision makers. It was about threatening storm surges, river floods, and the very acute and serious situation. It was about the potential of digital technology and the role of a demand management program to arrange certain needs together, and also about the water and nutrition cycle and what role citizen collective can play, and so on.
And so on. There's so many things, Birgit, and I mean, it must be amazing. You're listening to these things, and also you get the scripts from people, like the results from the sessions, and then you're putting it there. It's beautiful. It's great. It's a really nice way of documenting things. And I'm really happy that we have 4 slots already filled here on the day 2. I saw there's still some missing on the day 1. So if you want your session to be represented here, just send the notes to Birgit, and it will be done in no time.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Birgit. We will definitely see you again, and the picture is evolving. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Have a good day, and enjoy the conference as well from your perspective.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, everyone. So this was a bit of a flashback to yesterday, and now let's get right to it, I would say. As I said, we will start with the keynote. And we have a colleague here from the MRC, from the Mekong River Commission. And maybe, Thim Ly, could you activate your camera so we can see whether you are tuned in? Here we go. There he is. Ly, you are still on mute?
Okay, good.
Hi there. How's it going?
And good evening. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Yes, nice to be here.
Very nice that you're joining us. So basically what we will hear from you is some insights on the Mekong River Commission. You will give us the whole picture, and of course always with a focus on water security and climate change. And Ly is actually the Chief River Basin Planner for the MRC Secretariat. And could I just ask other participants to switch off the camera while we're here in the keynote session? We'll invite you in later. Thank you very much. So this means, Ly, that you're actually in the lead role in the formulation of basin development strategies and plans, together with the different countries of the Mekong, of the MRC. Technical supervision is also part of your job, and of the implementation of different projects and activities, including water management, adaptation. And you also have been involved in many assessments, I think, also in the development of the climate change adaptation strategy for the MRC. That's perfect. And I know that you also have worked for some NGOs, you've worked for UNDP, so this really gives you a very broad perspective, and a perspective from different angles on the situation. I really, that must be very useful for you. 15 years in the Mekong, region, working there, and you studied in Germany. You studied in Dortmund and in Bonn, which is not too far from here. So you know the region, you know Cologne.
It's very near, yeah, very close to Cologne.
All right, great.
That's why it's nice to see you now.
That's perfect. Lee, didn't you want to show, before we go to your presentation, didn't you want to show a little quiz?
Yes, please. Yes, please. With the quiz.
Shall we get started with the quiz? Oh, here we go. It comes up. So maybe it's the first time for all of you to have this function, but you see on the screen a question for you. What is the meaning of the word Mekong? So we have 3 options: turbulent river, mother of waters, 9 dragons. So you make your choice, and Sylvia in the background, she operates the quiz, and we can see what the result will be in a moment once all of you, or not all of you, but most of you have actually answered the quiz. So let's see what the result will be. Just go on the button for the right answer on the circle, and then click on submit, and then we should be able to receive your results. Here we go. Lee, you're taking notes. We'll get to the results in a moment. Interesting results I can see, and there's still results coming in as we go. Still some people filling in. So it seems that mother. Yeah.
So
let's wait. Yep. All right. That looks good. There's a front runner, which is the middle one. What is the correct answer, Lee?
Okay, yeah, so now we get 25 vote here, and 56% is mother of water. So the correct answer is mother of water. So majority of participants corrected that. But actually in the Mekong also, we also have a different meaning. But for the Mekong, this is mother of water. In Vietnam, where the delta drain into the South China Sea and East Sea, the 9 dragons called Kulong. In Vietnamese, it means 9 dragons. So in Vietnam, they call 9 dragon. And then in the upper part of the basin in China, they call Lan Chang. So it means turbulent river. So it's different parts have different meaning. But these are the meaning of the Mekong. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Lee. To the next question, and we'll make the next one a quick question. How many countries does the Mekong flow through? 6, 7, 5. Make a quick choice. 6, 7, or 5 countries. 6 countries is on the top of the list. It's red. 7, 5. Okay, we see the results coming in. More than 50% on 6. All right. Okay. Okay, looking good. I guess, Lee, looking good. I guess the 6 is the correct answer. All right, let's move to the next question. That's a very nice one. I like that one, Lee. Have you ever been to the Mekong? We could have asked, have you ever been in the Mekong? But we asked, have you ever been to the Mekong? Let's see how many people have been. It's 50-50. Look at that. Yeah.
Okay. See, yeah.
What do you think, Lee?
So more than half are new to the Mekong. So maybe good for me to introduce into my keynote. Yes, with presentations.
Yep.
That's good.
Perfect.
Very good.
Please then go ahead with your presentation, Lee.
So I start with my presentations. Yes. I share the screen now. Okay. So thank you very much for inviting and to attend this important conference. And good day, participants, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thim Ly, Chief River Basin Planner of the Mekong River Commission Secretariat. I am pleased to join this conference and have the honor to deliver a keynote speech titled "Drinking Water in." Here is the Mekong River Basins. Its flow, as you saw on the quiz, its flow through 6 countries. Its flow from Tibet through China, Myanmar, Laos, PDR, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, and then drain into the East Sea or South China Sea. And then it is the 12th longest river in the world. It has a length of almost 4,800 kilometers of the mainstream. And in terms of the basin area, it is 21st largest basin in the world. And in terms of mean discharge flow, it's the 8th largest of the world. And the population in the basins covering 6 countries is estimated about 72 million populations in 2020. So this is the quick background of the Mekongs, and as you see, is very nice photos of the livelihood in the Mekong and also environment as well. So the Mekong corporations had been established more than 64 years, dated back in 1957 with the establishments of the Mekong Committee that's comprised Cambodia, Laos, PDR, Thailand, and Vietnam. So the committee provided extensive knowledge base in terms of monitoring data, study, and basin plans. And in 1995, the 4 member countries signed the 1995 Mekong Agreements to establish and give the Mekong River Commissions, called AMASI, a strong legal foundation, and it is the only one as a treaty-based organization for the Mekong. And the AMASI mandate is to promote and coordinate sustainable development and management of water and related resources of the Mekong River basins. The head of the state reaffirmed at the highest level with the 3 summit of Prime Minister in 2010, 2014, 2018, with an increasing financial contributions from member countries to be self-financed by 2030. So here is the water resource development pathway. As you see here, developments in the Mekong Basin is common from the bottom up, from the downstream to upstream, including development of navigations and improvement of the drainage in the delta in Vietnam and Cambodia in the 1950s and 1960s. And then hydropower development in Thailand and Vietnam and China emerged in the 1990s. And then currently hydropower development in Laos and also floodplain development has emerged in Cambodia. And also irrigation expansions, climate change adaptations may be prevailed in the basin. So these are the what we see in the future for the development pathway. Here is the conditions, the basin conditions about the trends and outlooks. The basin is characterized with the rapid developments. Yes, you see a high-rise building in the delta, Mekong Delta, and also some part in the regions. And the Mekong is perceived as a dynamic region with a young and well-connected population for growth and opportunity. So all kinds of economic developments is attractive to the world. However, currently pressure on environment is increasing, including changing flow of the Mekong due to hydropower development among other development areas. And also reducing sedimentations and fishery production is happening. And then also land subsidence in the water extractions, as well as climate change. And this causes also more extreme flood and droughts in the basin that we experience. This is the summary of the basin trend and outlook that we have compiled during 2018. This is a very recent data from our State of Basin report. So this one show the conditions related to environment, social, economics, and also climate change, the status of this.
Lee?
For the flow regime change, current conditions is somewhat significant concern need to be addressed. This is marked as a yellow. And now Mekong River Commission has to work to improve this, to improve the yellow dot into the green dot. So green dot means to improve the situations to be no immediate concern. So to improve the basin conditions. And the red dots indicate that there is a considerable concern need to be addressed in the condition. And this there is some in regard to reduce sediment transport because of the development of hydropower in upstream, especially in China and also currently in Laos and also in the tributaries. So this contribution. As you see here, in the future, outlook here is looking into 2040 of our projections. Reduced sediment transport will be perceived as a very much decline into 2040. So this is the thing that we noted, and then we have to work and address to improve these conditions from the red to yellow to green, to improve the basin. And this also includes the status of living conditions and well-being. The gray dot, it means that there is no sufficient data to analyze. So we need to work more, collect data on the social well-being. This one is on the also socials, and then economic value is on focus on the agriculture, focus on the water resource economic sector, including agriculture, hydropower, fishery, aquaculture, navigations, in which we do not have so much information about this economics status. So it's still gray for us, and we need to work to improve data collection. So this is summary of basin trend and outlook. So now what we need to work, this is our strategic response and challenges that we have learned and we need to address. The first one is to recognize this issue. We need to work more on proactive regional planning. So what does it mean, more proactive regional planning? This to reduce trade-off and vulnerability. So this one a project that carry out in one country, it may cause impacts to other countries. But then some of national projects may also help to improve the basin. Example, through improve the maintenance of the the environmental asset in the basin, for example, like floodplain. It will increase also improve situation in the basin as a whole. So we need to work more proactively in this aspect. The second issue and the second thing that we need to respond is the requirement to have better coordinations of basin management operations. So operation mean this including also related to dam operations and also water infrastructure, other water infrastructure like such as irrigations, in the basin, etc. So we need to have this more coordinated, and we have to put in place operating protocols for cascading dams and also water infrastructure to ensure that the flow regimes is not much changing and address the issue of the basin needs. So this we need to work to address this. The next one is to work on modernizations of data and information acquisitions and sharing. This includes modernizing water-related monitoring, modeling, and information system for better planning. And this we need to work, and this is in our work plan. We need basin information management systems by setting up joint basin expert groups for the whole basin. So currently we have only expert group for the lower Mekong Basin that include Cambodia, Laos, PDR, Thailand, and Vietnam. But in the future, we will see how this expert group be established for the 6 countries. So these are the important response and also major challenge that we need to address in the future, in the next 5 years. So how we do this? So we developed recently a basin development strategy for the Mekong Basins. This is the 3rd strategy that we have developed. The first one, it was from 2011 to 2015, and then 2016 to 2020, and we have just completed. Now we developed, and it has been approved by the member country from the MRC perspective for the whole Mekong Basin and for 10-year period from 2021 to 2030. And this 10-year is to align with the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal of the United Nations. And this strategy comprising 5 dimensions that's in line with the Mekong indicator frameworks, that's including environmental dimensions, social dimensions, economic dimensions, climate change dimension, and cooperation dimension. All of these dimensions are also cross-cut with the SDG. So we work to improve these 5 dimensions to improve the basin condition as I presented earlier. And this basin development strategy, there are 5 priorities. One is to maintain the ecological functions of the Mekong, including maintenance of flow in the mainstream, and also ensure that also fishery sectors is also improved in this aspect. And for SDG, this priority will contribute to SDG number 6 on clean water and sanitation and life on land. So this SDG number 15. The second priority of the strategy is to enable inclusive access and utilization of water and related resources. And this priority contribute to SDG number 1, number 2, number 5, number 6, and number 17. And this is to improve the well-being and the social aspects of the basins. Priority number 3 is set to enhance optimal and sustainable developments to improve the economic development aspect. So we need to balance between developments, social and environment. So these dimensions as I presented earlier. And this will contribute to SDG number 2, number 7, number 8, and number 9. And then we have priority number 4 to strengthen resilience against climate risk, extreme flood and drought. So this one related to climate change, reductions, adaptations, disaster risk. And this will address the SDG number 1 and number 13. These are interconnected with the other 3 priorities presented earlier. And then the last priority of the strategy is to have to strengthen cooperations among all countries and stakeholders. So all countries, not only the member country of the 4, but also the 6 countries, and also stakeholder in the basin, and stakeholder not only within the basin, but also outside worlds as well, including development partner and also global institutions, exchange of informations and lesson learned, etc. So all of this priority will be implemented for the strategy from 2021 to 2030. And then to implement this, we developed our strategic plans. It's 5 years. So 5 years, it will be more moving plan. And then we will develop further for 2026 and 2030 to implement this BDS, 10-year BDS with these 5 dimensions. So this is all my keynote speech. So thank you very much for your kind attention. I hand over back to Michael. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lee, for this great presentation. Thank you for giving us a great overview of what MRC is doing, and also the trends in the river basin. That was really impressive. Now the floor is open for questions. So if you have any questions, just please put them in the chat, and I will pull them out from there and direct them to Lee. And while you're doing so, there's already a question coming. Thank you for the inspiring keynote. Can you give us an example of how MRC can support the countries to make the Mekong River Basin more resilient to climate change? Lee.
Okay, yeah. Do you want me to answer this now?
Please,
or
please go ahead. No, just directly if you want.
Yeah. So it's as you see here, thank you very much for this question. It's very interesting. So that's why we developed this basin development strategy to guide our implementation to help member countries. So again, as I mentioned before, we have a lot of working experience with member countries. Now we work we need to also work with other countries, other 2 countries in the upper part, and also stakeholder. And we developed this BDS to guide
Lee, can you still hear me? Your video and audio is sometimes breaking up.
And,
now we can hear you again.
Okay. Yeah.
Just keep going.
Thank you. Now, do you hear me now? Yeah.
Just keep going.
Oh, okay. Yes. So again, thank you very much for the question. It's very interesting and good questions. So to help member country, that's why we developed this BDS, 10-year BDS, to guide the implementations of our action plans to carry out for 2021 to 2030. That covering these 5 dimensions, including environment dimension, social economics, climate change, and institutions. And all of these 5 dimensions, they are interconnected. And then the purpose of this is to improve, to develop this and work to improve the basin conditions, as I presented earlier on the basin trend and outlook into 2040.
Okay. Is there one concrete example that you could stress, Lee, like from some area, irrigation, be it hydropower? What are like concrete examples for like an adaptation measure?
Okay, so under this, actually, we have work example in the priority number 5, strengthen cooperations among all member countries. We have developed 5 MRC guidelines that's including procedure and guidelines for countries to follow and to implement. This include procedure for notification, prior consultations, and agreement, PNPC. And this used for the large project that will have major impacts on the Mekong livelihoods and Mekong basins. So currently we have implemented with 5 prior consultation process for the mainstream dams. And now example like the Sayaburi hydropower projects in Lao PDR has implemented adaptation measure by adapting their design, the hydropower design.
Okay, I see.
To fit with the procedure and guideline. And this include improve fish migrations, improve flow, improve settlement in downstream. So we work this to improve the situation in the basin. This
is a small example of how you can work towards also, I mean, when it comes to fish, it's not only climate change, but also other related issues. There was another question in the chat. Did you ever evaluate, or have you considered evaluating a specific SDG for evaluation in the Mekong River Basin, and what was your approach? So a quick answer on the evaluation. Did you ever do that for the SDGs?
So now we actually we have this M&E set up for the BDS. So we use this SDG indicator as a document. So currently we haven't done it yet, but in the future we will use this to monitor and evaluate.
So the SDGs,
so that we can.
The SDGs are your reference also in your planning document, and you're planning in the future to evaluate also the achievement of the SDGs at your level. That's perfect. That's great. There was one more question. I have to see the chat again. I think it was thanks for the presentation. How is the concession to water rights? That's one question. Then I will pull up one last question for you, Lee, which is how is the progress achieved in priorities 2, 3, and 4? That's a very detailed question. And these two questions are the last questions, and then we're going to move on to the roundtable.
Can you again repeat?
I can repeat. So the first one is how is the concession to water rights? By Claudia Moster. And then there is from Loy Rego, how is the progress achieved in priorities 2, 3, and
2 and 3, right?
2, 3, and 4, yeah. And perhaps a quick answer, if you can, for the 2.
Yeah, so now the question regard to the water rights concession. So we did not work on this, so we do not have this information. So concession to water rights, water allocations, we do not work on this, and then a country is still abundant with water. So a country express that water allocation is not an issue now. So we do not work on this water allocations. For the progress, we work into 2, 3, and 4. Now under number 2, we have so number 2 we more related to the livelihood related to fishery. So we have developed some guidance on the fish-friendly irrigation scheme and improvement of the fishery production, etc., to improve livelihood and also social impact monitoring in the basins. So now for priority number 2, we have document mostly monitoring and then improve the situation on livelihood related to fishery and agriculture. And then with number 3, this one we developed many sectoral strategy, including climate change adaptations in the basin. So we member country approved. We implemented this strategy, and then we have also a strategy for sectoral strategy for environmental asset. So this have been approved. So we work to address this, and then other master plan for navigations also have been approved. So we work toward that, and for hydropower strategy is being considered by member countries. So we work to implement also improve this in the basins, especially uptake by member countries for the improvement of the design.
Okay.
For number 4, we have implemented also including the implementations of the flood forecasting, drought forecasting, and also implementing the climate change adaptations in these aspects. And we have implemented some hotspot area, and the priority number 4 is example project between Cambodia and Laos to address flood and droughts in the border province between the 2 countries, and it will be upscale somewhere else. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lee, for clarifying also these questions and giving us a very good overview of the overall situation. I'm sure there's more questions, but please don't hesitate to go and get in touch with Lee via the platform, perhaps, or via email. Via the platform, of course, we prefer, if you can add his contact, and then you can be in touch. Thanks so much, Lee, for this. It was great having you here. I would like to move on now to the roundtable. And basically, Lee, you gave us a great introduction to the roundtable, because this is all about also land and water governance that you talked about, because it's all about integrating different sectors, working in different sectors, and all also with respect to sustainability and climate change. So we should move on with this question, because we have a roundtable prepared. And Lee, perhaps you could stop the screen sharing. We have a roundtable prepared. We want to dive deeper into this topic of integration of land and water governance, and how do we get to more coordination, cooperation amongst stakeholders, amongst ministries, and so forth? What are the key ingredients? What are important players, and what are perhaps good examples? So we will have a great group, and I would like to invite all the roundtable speakers to join us now here, to activate their cameras. So we will have Masha Motlak, who is with the ICB in Bonn. We have Mukhan Babal, and I see his camera picture appearing here with us from the AIT. We have John Daw, who is with us, who is with DFED, and he's based in Bangkok. And we have Professor Fong, who you already know from different sessions, I believe, and he should also be coming up. John and Fong, are you there? I see Fong, and I see perhaps John's picture building up. And while it is building up, I would like to say welcome to all of you. It's really great that you're joining us for this roundtable. We're a bit behind time, so we have like 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes for our roundtable, but I'm sure we will use the time efficiently, and I'm still waiting for John's picture to come up so he can join us. John, can you hear us?
Michael, he will come later. He has technical difficulties.
Okay. Thank you, Sylvia, for the information. Sylvia is taking good care of the technical issues, so I'm sure he will be able, I hope he can be able to join us later. All right, let's get right to it. I mean, you saw the presentation by Lee and Masha. Maybe I can start with you. Masha is a research associate at the Digitainable project at the Bonn Alliance for Sustainability Research and Innovation Campus, and she works on water governance and many other issues and digital transformation. Now, what is your view, Masha, and perhaps a novel view also, if you consider digital transformation in the picture, your view on water and land governance? I mean, what are the factors that play in there, and what makes land and water governance successful? And perhaps you can give us some insights on your digital perspective, so to say.
Thank you, Michelle, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Dr. Lee, for the great presentation and opening this panel discussion. I just, as a first person talking, just maybe starting with some introductory insight about the land and water governance and the sustainable development goals if we consider development as a three-dimensional concept, consists of environmental, economic, and social aspects. Looking at water and land resources are playing a very central role in the integration components of the development and 2030 agenda. So, well, just as it was pointed out, the Sustainable Development Goals, which are very centered around these two very precious resources, talking about SDG 2, Zero Hunger, SDG 6, Water and Sanitation, SDG 14, Life on Land, and 15, Life Below Water. The first step is understanding the interconnectedness of these goals and all the other 17 goals to find out about the synergies and trade-offs from targets and indicators of each of these SDGs to understand how water and land can be managed sustainably. So starting with that and understanding the session being on the context of the transboundary and international shared resources such as water and land. So just move to the idea of being cooperation over these shared resources is for sure one of the main tasks of the Sustainable Development Goals. And of course, looking at the trend of these cooperative frameworks being developed overall globally, we can see that only 59% of the international basins are under cooperative and operational
59,
arrangements. 59 in 2018, as it was reported lately from the UN Water reports. It is published. So if we think about these shared resources and how it can be activated and promoted, these cooperative arrangements among them being the goal, so we can see that there are a wide range of complex transboundary challenges require, on the other hand, a lot of innovative solutions and tools which should be developed along with these dynamic factors which are impacting these international relationship among the neighboring countries over shared resources, their relation, their power dynamics, and all of that. To understand these change factors and digest it into the diplomatic arrangements among them can be one of the first steps. Well, it is very talking about the change factors such as all the global changes coming in, such as climate change, societal change, and of course technology. When we talk about technology in that context, it is just, we know that it is an everyday evolving trend.
Why don't we go there right now, Masha? Why don't we tell us a bit about what brings in what is it that the digital transformation brings in? Just a short statement on that.
Well, I just want to say that technology is there. It doesn't mean that it brings lots of opportunities. Understanding these opportunities along with the risks that can propose to these international arrangements among the stakeholders of the shared resources can be the first step. So for me, bringing the capacity and understanding of these changes is one of the main factors and main solutions maybe to start with, to bring in these understandings from different domains and break the silos among the stakeholders to find out about the opportunities these new innovations can bring rather than facing the risks later on. So for me, it's just like the starting with the awareness about these changes is the first step.
Okay, so starting with awareness of the interconnectedness, and see how cooperative frameworks work, and then also see opportunities and perhaps constraints with regards to the digital part. That's great. Thank you very much for that. Dr. Fong, can I bring you in to the discussion? And what you heard from your speakers, what you heard from the colleague from MRC, what is your take on the picture of land and water governance? If we zoom in a bit to Vietnam, you have recently there's a government resolution that came out where you actually look very much at the Mekong Delta, and you try to stimulate cooperative arrangements, so to say, in a way that you have cross-sectoral cooperation and so forth. Would you like to tell us a bit about what are the main factors for success there and where you stand with that?
Okay, thank you very much. So yeah, even though also my water, land and soil also already naturally integrated system. So actually, the rising of demand of food and feed require largely expanding the use of water and lands. And actually, the increasing of demand in agriculture output and resource use may be over available water and land in the future. And Mekong River Delta is one of the part of Mekong River already mentioned in the keynote of Thim Ly, mentioned a lot about how to make use the waters and land use. So I think that the integrated the agriculture land use and the water allocation together, improving the water's use efficiency also very important. And look at also the ecological system to meet the climate change impact and to adapt the climate change adaptation activities. You should integrate it in the planning.
Maybe can I interrupt you there, Phong? When we look at the slide that Lee showed, where we had sort of the barometer of the basin trends, we had a lot of arrows going red. We have a lot of arrows being orange or yellow, and then we have one arrow or couple of arrows going up, all for economic development. So we have a positive trend on the economic development side, but we see a lot of trends that are also downward. In this process of it's a trade-off between economic development, poverty reduction is an issue. How do you? It's a political debate also. It's how do you integrate this into the debate at the local level? For example, in the Mekong Delta.
So actually, to improve the efficiency of land use and water's use. So our government issues a resolution 120 on the sustainable and climate resilient development of Mekong Delta in Vietnam. So the guiding viewpoint is the transform the challenges of climate change in the Mekong River Delta, like a flood, like a sea level rise, or drought or salinity intrusion, into the opportunities for the development. And concerning the SDG, so we put the people at the center of development, and the development is to serve the people, and the people must live with and adapt to the new condition. So a lot of the policies to encourage the different economic sectors to be reformed to improve the efficiency of water use and land use as well. Mm-hmm. So the planning build the agriculture production of the three main aspects. So aqua product, food trees, and the rice production associated with the ecological zones. And we try to reduce the land use for the paddy rice and to move it to the more diversification of the crops with a higher value, commercial value.
Okay. I really like the what you said earlier, turning these threats, so to say, like sea level rise and other development changes into opportunities, and also you said putting people at the center. Mukund, can I turn to you and for a contribution? So Mukund Babel is a professor at the Asian Institute of Technology, AIT, and we should mention that actually the first WSCC conference was hosted in Bangkok at the AIT in 2016. Mukund, what is your take on what you heard? How can we turn climate change and other developments also or translate them into opportunities? What is your take there in the framework of land and water governance? And you're still on mute?
Yeah, right. Thank you, Michael. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, we unfortunately we had a issue here. The blackout happened because of the thunderstorm happening.
Okay, we can hear you now.
So yeah. So I'm using my mobile phone, and I hope it works. Once again, it was a nice presentation by Lee on giving an overview of these land and water issues in Mekong. I will take you to a little different aspect of it, especially as when we talk about land and water governance. So first thing is integration, right? So I would like to remind ourselves, what do we really mean by integration? And I would say that integration would be very difficult to achieve. We should talk about coordination of governance. Land and water can still be governed separately, but can we have enhanced coordination between these two sectors? That's the first point. The second point I would like to, that brings to another interesting idea of that. How do we really define land and water governance itself, or integrated land and water governance? I have come up with a definition which I'll put later on. But before that, let me bring you how these a policy in Thailand, which is part of this Mekong, which we have been talking about, the land use change policy or the biofuel policy. The government has come up with this low carbon society goal, and have developed this alternative energy development plan 2030, where they expect about 30% of renewables to be used by 2036. And this biofuel, biofuel crops, especially like sugarcane, cassava, they would contribute to, and oil palm, another one, very important one. Mm-hmm. They will contribute to about 7% to the energy use in Thailand, for example. And northeast of Thailand which is part of this Mekong River. A lot of farmers have gone for cultivating these crops. Now,
so there's a change in land management there happening?
The land change has taken place because of the attractive market prices and the demand for biofuel. The policy, the implications of those policies have created a lot of impact on water resource, and especially on water quality, the environmental issues. We analyzed this at AIT through our research, and we found that biodiesel
yes,
and bioethanol. So biodiesel production would affect the water quality, and if we go for more of ethanol, bioethanol crops, that would disrupt the water resource, water balances, the flows in the rivers, and at the same time water qualities. A very recent study was done by one of our colleagues. We found that going for biofuel,
yes,
would be good from the perspective of reduced greenhouse gases.
It is indeed. This is a very specific and important topic, Mukund, and I believe this is part of the land and water governance debate, because land use is changing. But let me get back to the point that you made in the beginning. You said coordination of governance. Now, right. I would like to also, if I may, bring in Masha again from the beginning, so we have a bit more of an exchange within the panel. And sorry to inform you that maybe John may not be able to join us. He has some technical problems that apparently could not be used, although we tested and everything, but sometimes it doesn't work. That's unfortunate. I hope he can still make it, but let's see. I would like to turn back to Masha also to bring you in. When we look at this coordination issue, I mean, there's different interests in different ministries. If you look at the nation state, you look at the local level, there's different departments, there's political interest. We know all that. That's reality. Isn't there an important role for external integrators, or people who can mediate situations that could come in there in this situation? What is your take, Masha, on that?
That is going to be highlighting the role of the river basin organizations and authorities here. And of course, the third parties can come also from the international organizations and bringing that insight into the ongoing discussion among the local governments on each case that we are talking about. I can emphasize on the role of, for example, Nile Basin Initiative in case of the Nile Basin, that are just kind of taking that role for the coordination. the level of success is something that we can debate on, but then the existence of such bodies are there, and then how they're operational and functional is something that we can kind of like have a deeper look at.
Okay, thank you, Masha, for that. So integrators, facilitators play an important role. I see John has joined us. John, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Michael, and my apologies to Thim Ly and the rest of the panel. We've been having lots of electron problems here. No fault of the organisers, something to do with our government equipment.
All right, no problem. Could you follow the discussion? Could you hear it?
No, I haven't been hearing anything, so
okay.
I'll just have to listen up.
All right. John, thanks so much for joining us. John is, I said that earlier, with DFAT, and he's the water specialist from Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade in Australia, and he's based in Bangkok, and I'm happy that he's here. John, we've been talking about different factors that are relevant for integrating land and water management, for coordination. Masha made a point in the beginning that digital transformation is an important upcoming factor that can be used and is an opportunity, but sometimes also a constraint. We heard some aspects from Phong about the Mekong Delta, and also Mukat was telling us that maybe integration is not the right word, but well-coordinated approaches for governance is an important approach. Now, what is your perspective? What are the most important ingredients to get to integrated land and water management? You, as someone living in the region, looking at it from the perspective of a development partner and also in touch with others. John, are you still there? Unfortunately, I think we have lost him again. That's unfortunate. So it seems to be a mix between also external issues there. Okay, well, that is how it is sometimes in the digital world. And
this is how governance of digital world is.
All right. Well, then maybe let me go to you again, Phong. If you look at the actors that are involved at the local level with regards to coordinating how a region should develop land and water governance, bringing in climate change, what are the different actors that are involved there beside government agencies?
I think that as I said before about the resolution 120, we put the people in the center of the development, and then they should be the main actors in the development process. Of course, we also need the participation, more active participation, private sector. It's also very important. Yeah, that's important for development. So this also clearly policies to encourage them, and also to try to empower in terms of the waters and land use to the farmers, to the local people. Mm-hmm. Of course, it is also necessary to consider the ecological aspect for the improving the water use efficiency and land use. So we now are trying to reduce the land use for the petty rice and move it to the higher value food trees. So three main aspect now in Mekong deltas is one is aquatic product. Second is the fruit tree. And the third is the rice. So when we change the crop diversification, and that we try to reduce the product that consume the more water to be less waters, but we try to change the crops higher value. It's a higher commission value.
Okay, thank you for that, Phong. And I would also like to open the floor for questions from the audience. If you have a comment or a question, please just write it in the chat, and we can bring it in here to the discussion.
Michelle, meanwhile, can I pose questions to Professor Babel and Dr. Phong? about the role of data in the process of the collaboration and coordination that they mentioned, how they are doing in the case of the Mekong. So how it has changed the prospects of that cooperation when we are looking at the role of data from the national security perspective. Is it something that I can hear from them? That would be perfect.
Please, if the colleagues want to react to that, who wants to react? The role of data. Mukund, would you like to say something about that?
Yeah, nobody will deny the role of data. And the way we are moving towards the data and making them public, this should happen. Now, when it comes to Mekong, the 4 countries are having a better exchange of information and data. But still, there is a need to bring in the upper countries, China, especially the China, to share the data and information. So nobody will deny on that we need. That is what my point of coordination was. The coordination to me is, we can have common governance agreements or arrangements. This is one. The second one is the flow of information. Can we develop an enabling environment where the flow of information can take place among the, let's say, riparian countries, or within the country, also among the different departments and agencies?
So it is also, it's not only about the fact that we need to have data, but the flow of information and the distribution and the exchange of information amongst the different parties is a major point there. I'm afraid, Mukund, I have to interrupt you there, because we're moving towards the end of the roundtable, and I'm sure that people are also looking forward to the next sessions, and in order to give them also a little break, I would like to conclude here. And it was unfortunate that John couldn't join us, but perhaps he will be part of the sessions afterwards. But I would like to thank you all very much for being part of this. Also, Lee is still with us and he was listening in. Thank you very much, Lee, for being part of this. Masha, thanks for joining us from Bonn. Fong, thanks so much. Mukund, thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much.
And we will happy throughout the day.
Yeah, happy to respond to other questions if there are.
Yes, please be in touch with the speakers via the platform and be in touch, and then you can also maybe meet them in the matchmaking events, in the bilateral video calls. That would be great. All right, I say bye-bye for the moment. I wish you great sessions that are upcoming. See you later in the day.
See you.